This is the European edition of Breaking Banks, the world's #1 fintech podcast and radio show. We bring you the European unicorns, startups, founders, regulators, and leaders innovating the rapidly evolving fintech scene today. A truly localized podcast with both English and local language content, with some of the world's most well-known hosts and influencers in the fintech sector globally. Join us every week as we explore what makes the European Union a phenomenal proving ground for many of the fastest growing fintech plays in the world today. Okay, let's roll.
All right, so welcome everybody. Welcome at Breaking Banks Europe. We are at the second day of Money2020 here in Amsterdam, and we are going to do our second episode today with actually quite a new guy for what we are used to. It's not a financial guy. He's not coming from any financial services company at all. And I'm very happy to introduce you Lewis Buchanan. He's actually, you, Lewis, you are going to tell us who you are because you have a quite interesting profile and, as I said, completely out of our industry. So tell us who you are and what does it brought you to Money2020?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. Great to be here. My name's Lewis Buchanan. I'm a professional mountain bike rider / racer, not as much as what I used to be, but doing more of the social media side now. Done a ton of racing in the last 15 years as a professional. So it's been quite a journey. And for this is new for me and something quite eye-opening. So it's cool to be here, big learning curve, and also cool to, spread the word and tell a story.
Great. So you're actually here because you are part of what we normally call the creators economy. Mm-hmm. So could you tell us why did you choose or how come you are here at Money2020 and together with whom actually you are here?
Yeah, so I'm here with OnlyFans. This opportunity came around towards the tail end of last year. I've always been on the lookout for a brand and a company that aligns with what I believe in and something that's unique and something that is growing day by day. So for me to engage in a conversation with OnlyFans at the end of last year was a big deal for me. And also to bring a company like that into the sport of mountain biking is new for that, sport as singling it out. So for me, I think both of our visions lined up. It was unique. And for me to be able to, add value to my content, it's great to have all these other platforms that I've used in the previous years. But from using OnlyFans, I'm able to have a closer connection with my fans that value that are invested, interested, want to support the journey. So it's great. And also, like I said, adding value to my content. I can put a price on that. It's exclusive, so you can get content there that you won't be able to get anywhere else. And it's like a nice community, real good community. And that's what I enjoy about it. I feel safe on there. I feel connected. We're only 5-6 months roughly into it now. But I'm learning every day basically on how to use the platform as well and what works, what doesn't. And just basically trying to honestly pioneer a different route and path for future athletes and people who want to, be online creators and go their own route, really. Yeah,
that's great. And as we were discussing before, you are actually quite a pioneer in this sense, especially because you chose a platform like OnlyFans. Mm-hmm. But this decision didn't come with any trouble, as we know. Mm-hmm. So the UCI actually was banning you from competing because they were not really happy about this decision. Mm-hmm. How do you think this had affected your job in general? But also, I really want to understand from your point of view how difficult it is from an institutions like that and also for other athletes to do the same as you did, especially choosing a platform like OnlyFans.
Yeah, I think I knew honestly that it was going to be a bit of a roller coaster. Not necessarily with myself and OnlyFans, because I'm confident in that and believe in their mission and whatnot. But
yeah, you seem quite secure about your decision. Actually, yeah,
I'm very passionate about it, and I knew it was going to be a big deal for the cycling industry, and it has been. But my mission is to like really educate people and, you know, hopefully open up people's eyes and minds to what is out there. But the UCI thing's difficult. They're not willing to really engage to educate or be educated a little bit more on it, which is a shame. But I think hopefully enough pressure and enough, you know, people speaking about it, maybe things can change in the next, 6 to 12 months. But I certainly won't stop talking about it, because I feel like if I don't and the people who support me don't, then nobody will. So we'll see how it goes, but it's been tough. UCI are obviously quite a big organization. They oversee like all the cycling, all the events. I would like to race, but luckily the last few years I've switched things up and went more the social media content side, like being more in control of what I create. It's up to me. Whereas in the previous years I was racing and it was all results based. So we'll see how things unfold over the next while. We're trying to figure ways around it. But yeah, just pressure and talking about it hopefully can be enough.
Yeah, of course. And I can imagine it's actually a completely new turn into your career, which makes sense. I mean, it's also like you will always be an athlete, but then probably with a different mindset, and also maybe other of your colleagues will take the same decision. Before, you were mentioning about how OnlyFans is kind of a secure and protect environment for you and for your job. So I'm really interested in knowing what are the tools that actually OnlyFans provide you to better do your job, and also what your followers can actually get out of the platform.
Yeah, so like I said, it is a really unique deal. So when I originally thought about looking outside the sport, and I had this whole idea of good marketing, good branding of OnlyFans on my helmet, and creates good coverage. That's what I was after. So they obviously support financially really well. I'm thankful for that. Like, they're supportive of the creators, and to see them dipping into sports across the globe is amazing. It's a shame that cycling is so far behind, but hopefully we can get to that stage where more athletes, say, in mountain biking can become a part of it. So yeah, obviously that, and then really the last kind of couple months has been good for me on the platform. I'm starting to see people who want to support my journey. So it's good that people can like tip me if they want, which is great. Yeah. Just having like a closer connection with them. And then obviously the exclusive content, I feel like I can be more myself, less polished, can kind of show the ins and outs, a bit of the behind the scenes, and be a bit more raw and natural and show a bit of personality. And I think people value that a lot. So I'm letting them into my life. And I have a choice. I don't have to, but I choose to. And I think there's value to that. So yeah, they've been, like we were speaking earlier, they've been an amazing company to work with. The people are great. I feel 100% supported by them. And I feel they're backing like through the journey for sure. So hopefully we have more and more years to go. And
nice.
Yeah, I'm not giving up on it. So
yeah,
it's been good.
That's great. That's great to hear. And so yeah, what I understood is that you have less filter being in this. You can be more authentic, more unique in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the other side though, because many times I see the creators that have to still following a lot of rules, especially when they have to deal with the brands. What's your experience with that, and how do you think the relationship between the brands and the creators can evolve? Like, what's the stage right now, and what do you expect to happen? Because I have the feeling they are not so much educated about the relationship with the creators.
Yeah, it's like, again, using that word roller coaster, like it's been for me, I've always had a massive list of sponsors, and honestly, that like list is what got smaller, but the amount of people that get it and understand the partnership and want to be a part of it, like, you know, people have walked away, but more people have come on board. So it's cool to see that as we're talking about it, as we're making people more aware of it and what the platform does for people, how safe it is, like that's a big deal as well. People are starting to open their eyes a little bit more in their minds and be like, you know, there is more out there, there's more opportunities for like creators and athletes too, but the brands to be involved as well. Like it's a bigger picture, the audience is wider, all that stuff. So yeah, like I said, slow burner, but we're pushing through with it. And if I can, like I said, educate more people about it, I feel like I'm doing my job naturally, then that's really the goal. But yeah, just keeping pressing on really is the goal I'm going with.
And how long have you been doing both things, like competing and being also a content creator?
For the last 3 to 4 years. Yeah, it was like a decision when I was racing. It started getting tough, like with injuries, and when you're relying on
you do
results,
a sport like that involves a lot of injuries.
Yeah, so I think you really have to put your thinking cap on and be like, right, how sustainable is racing at the highest level? Like how long can you sustain that for? It's not really that long. So it was time for me to think outside the box and really...
Was it weird? Was it tough at the beginning? Like to make this kind of switch? Yeah,
because when I was on teams, I had someone that looked after everything for me. And when I went my own path, it was me. I had to make the connections. I had to reach out, do all the negotiations. And but it built me into who I am today. I'm more organized, more switched on. I'm in charge of pretty much everything now myself. I don't have an agent, nothing like that, which is I'm quite proud of. So, and to make a partnership with OnlyFans pretty much myself is like a big bucket list kind of tick. It's pretty rare that you hear people do that themselves without any help. So proud of it. And pretty happy.
And so connecting with that, how are you? So you are a rider. You grown up as a rider, basically, we can say. So how can you? So you've never had this moment where you were like, okay, I still need to be authentic in what I'm doing, but this is my job. So I turn my job into something a little bit different that involves my passion, involves me being a rider. But still, I need to fulfill the things that, you know, I'm promoting, or I have the brand label on it. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tough to juggle that, but I found it quite easy this year because I now do have a smaller group of people that support me. So it's very focused on, you know, a few brands really, rather than what it used to be. It was like 10 to 15 brands that supported me. So I feel like over the years I've got better at that. It's just balance, trying to find that balance between priorities and also staying true to what I believe in as well. Like I wanted to mention earlier, like what the support from OnlyFans allows me to do is do what not many people in the mountain bike industry can do, which is go out and buy really any bike that I kind of want to buy and relate to my audience. And that's what they do. They buy their own bikes pretty much, right? So usually in the past when I've been signed with a brand, I'm contracted to say like nothing negative, nothing bad. So when people are watching my videos and I'm being relatable and I'm being honest and truthful about maybe a problem that I've had, they can relate to that. And I really think they value that. And I do have to give it up to OnlyFans for like giving me that opportunity, because that's something new for me. And I do enjoy doing it. And I see like the difference in engagement, follower count, all that sort of stuff, subscriber count. So it's valuable for sure.
Yeah, so probably at the end, like in any other business, the customers are kind of ruling the scene. So if they feel you are like just putting your name on a brand, they probably will not follow you. So the fact that you have so many followers means that probably you're like also, they can really relate with what you're doing. So afterwards, I'm going to ask you what's the best bike to.
Oh god.
I think you get that question how many times?
Yeah, the thing is, like, from what I've learned so far this year, there's so many good bikes out there.
I can
and
imagine. Come on.
My goal is never to talk bad on a brand or a company, but I like the fact that if I have a problem, I'm completely, like, in my own, like, I'm able to talk about that.
Yeah.
It's my money I'm spending.
Of course, yeah, makes sense. You're completely free in what you're doing.
That's not common at all.
Yeah.
In mountain biking. So again, that's something fresh. Some people don't like it because, they're sort of like, well, you're talking this about the one brand negative that could affect you for the future.
Yeah.
For that brand approaching you, well, yeah, maybe so, but I'm in a position where I can do it.
Yeah, so. I mean, the fact that you are inside a platform like OnlyFans probably, as we said before, allows you to be much more free than if you were doing your own things, picking up the different brands and so on. Yeah. So this is quite interesting, and I'm very curious to know what do you. I mean, we said it's really not the beginning of the creators economy, I wouldn't say that, but still there are a lot of people that need to get used to that, to the brands to work with the creators. Even as we said before, there are still many people looking at OnlyFans for what we used to know about OnlyFans, but they are trying to enlarge the scale of people that they can reach, being a content platform and not a specific content platform, let's say. But how do you imagine it's going to be, let's say, from now to 10 years? Your job right now, but also the general industry and maybe specifically even OnlyFans. How do you think it's gonna evolve?
I think, recently, as far as I understand, like, I took notice of OnlyFans getting more into sports in the last, honestly, sort of half a year, year-ish. And that's what was appealing to me. And I think it's cool that the platform literally is a place for everyone. You have a passion or something that you might be talented at or want to become more talented at and share that. Like, it's a platform that you can do that. If you're a sports athlete, you can do that. And I think it's important to, like, spread the word about the opportunities that it creates for people too. I know people who are athletes and people who are not, and to hear their stories is super inspiring. Whether it's like coming from really not much or like maybe taking a risk and it really paying off, and then them like feeling secure and also having a community. I think that's really cool, and I think to tell those stories is important. As far as where I'd like to see myself, like, at this moment, I'm honestly taking it year by year, but just wanting to see progression. And I think I hope to see other athletes. Obviously I'm in the cycling industry, so I would like to see more athletes get on board and, monetize their content.
Yeah.
I think there's too much out there in cycling that is free, like everything's free, and people get so used to that. And then when it eventually comes to speaking to a brand, because everything's free or people are accepting stuff for free, then there's no number for anyone.
Yeah, of course,
as soon as
no
someone mentions a number,
that.
They go, well, no, we do everything for free, or this is for free. So I think to add value to content is important. Because, I mean, they have platforms like Instagram and stuff and everything's free, right?
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah, hopefully to see some progression in that, and some progression would be good, especially inside the sport of cycling, and just be more open to companies like OnlyFans, Yeah. So, again, that's the goal. Hopefully, a thing that I like to use is, in cycling, a lot of teams have left the sport because of budgets, don't have the money, and it's a shame to see. And that includes athletes losing their deals because there's no money going around. So hopefully people can be more open-minded. And I guess that's why I feel like I'm here today, is to speak about that. And because nobody else in cycling is. So it's been a journey for sure. Yeah.
And except for the cycling industry, that of course it's the one that you are most aware of. But do you see the same traction and interest from other sports as well? Or still it's something that it's not really out there?
No, I think, there's in the motorsport, OnlyFans is pretty large, I'd say. You just have to look at the branding on the cars and the race trucks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I would love to try and get in touch with the governing bodies of those sports, where I think it's the FIA, and just hear their stance on it. I'd be really interested to see what they say about it. But yeah, I think other sports are taking definitely a better understanding to it, for sure. And I think they should, for sure. But yeah, I mean, we're a little bit behind.
Yeah, of course.
Hopefully we can catch up.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. Definitely. I hope it really would be the case.
Yeah.
So you were mentioning before that it's like half a year that you are with OnlyFans, right? So where did you actually start your fan base, let's say on Instagram, and how was the switch for them? Like, did you bring them all over to OnlyFans, or how does it work exactly?
So it basically just, I feel like I've had a lot of people join my OnlyFans that maybe are not on my other social platforms. But
so you got even more than what you had before then?
Yeah, so I think it's because my audience is so niche and like sports based, it's taken people a while to warm to it and have a change in platform. Like, oh, how do we use it? What is it like? So people are curious, right?
Yeah.
And I think once they check it out, they understand that there's things on there that you can't get anywhere else. For me, it's Instagram is really like, there's a lot going on, but with the OnlyFans, it's direct. Like it's nice I can message people like pretty damn
directly.
easily.
Okay.
Yeah, directly. So there's a connection there. So yeah, obviously having
they're more like fans probably than followers. Probably followers is the wrong.
Yeah, I feel like they're there for a reason.
Yeah. Of course.
Support the journey. They're curious.
Yeah, they can tip you, so it makes a little closer connection probably.
Yeah, and I've had people that, like I said, tip me and are like, here's like whatever, £500 or whatever out the blue that goes towards this or that, which is really generous. Don't get that really anywhere else. So I like it, and it's taken me a while, but once I get into the groove, and the nice thing is you can pretty much post and ghost. You post, see what works. If it doesn't work, change it up a slight bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like the mountain biking side is people are coming over slowly because they're going to get something different over there.
Yeah, of course.
And then also just a wider audience in general, not necessarily mountain bikers.
Yeah, this is also very interesting because I can imagine that through a platform like OnlyFans, you can actually enlarge much more your audience. So I don't know anything about motorbikes or bikes, and I'm really out of that sector. But I can assume that it's going to be quite interesting also to be part of the conversation and enlarge a little bit the audience that you have. So is this something you are thinking about and that triggers you?
Yeah, I've had like in the last month, like a lot of people message me saying, never really knew anything about mountain bikes. So cool to see someone using the platform for you're showing what they do and the sport that you do. So they were obviously clearly not really aware of it, and they're quite amazed by whether it's the footage I post or the travels I go on. So it's cool to see a larger audience, and I think that's the appealing thing as well. I've been using a word or a saying like a rising tide lifts all boats. So when I speak about the cycling industry, like if they allowed me to compete, who knows what that could look for the future for the race series or other athletes to be comfy to go on the platform and know that they're not going to get banned for being on it. So it's
you are doing quite an interesting job also for the rest of them.
Yeah, I'm trying, and I think it's working. I do think it's working. But yeah, I'm the guinea pig.
Yeah, exactly. Which has the good side and the bad side,
sure.
as always. Yeah. So we are at a financial conference, and I'm actually very happy to have you here because for once I'm not interviewing someone that is keep talking about fintech and financial technology and so on, which I love because it's part of my job. But still, sometimes you want something a little bit different. But I have to ask you this question. So how do you exactly are feeling towards your towards the financial side? How do you manage your finances? And because I can imagine also part of your job is also not so predictable, so you have to look for your own contracts. You have to probably make plan of your yearly income. So I think it's also very interesting to understand this point, because I see a lot of creators that are actually improvising a lot. Like, okay, I think this job is very easy, so I go there, I post a couple of stuff, I have a lot of followers, I have a lot of fans, whatever. But at the end, they are not really understanding that this is actually a job. So there is a planification probably around that. There is a sort of planning of your income, of what you have to do, your contract, and so on. So can you give us a little bit insights on that?
Yeah, so I do love my job. It's fun, really, really fun. But I always, every day keep in my head that I'm very aware that it's a job. I feel like I don't go slack on it. I don't, people say, oh.
No, you seem very on point.
Yeah, like I'm very aware that, I have to look after myself and my future. So to me, in the past, money was maybe not so important. But making a partnership like this, like for me, I guess, like I said earlier, it was a risk, but it was also a risk I was willing to take because I do believe in the platform and I do believe in like the journey, where I want to go, where I see it going. So it's important for me to think of my future. So, and in mountain biking, there's still a lot of riders and races that are literally making no money.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Going year by year, maybe get hurt, and there's nothing to fall back onto or no support or anything. So I'm passionate about that. And for me, I have to budget a little bit, but it's almost like it's created an opportunity for me to do stuff I've never done before, really. And, honestly, have more in my pocket and just to feel like a bit more secure and a bit more safe because I've went outside of the industry and done something different. It's created more opportunities for me. And it's a learning curve for me. Like, yes, I've been doing my own thing for the last few years, but this year's been a lot different. So I'm just kind of rolling with it.
Yeah.
And things are changing a lot, month by month. New opportunities and whatnot with new sponsors, which is cool to see.
Great.
So yeah, I'm just rolling with it. Honestly, it's just like a
ongoing kind of journey. Yeah. And at some point, you also gonna enter in the loop of investing because as much money you can make, you are also gonna explore new things. So I'm really curious also to see how the things are evolving. I'm actually very interested because you mentioned before that, of course, you made that choice because of the injuries and whatever you want to make, to sort of evolve in your job. So I'm assuming that people, your colleagues that are not making the same choice as yours, are actually, what is their future actually? I mean, what is normally the future of a biker that is, keep competing, they become, how they are handling it?
There's so many different examples. Some do very, very, very well. And
they keep competing for their whole lives?
Till late 30s.
Okay.
Like early 40s, honestly. Some of them are still, top 3 in the world.
And they
ranked.
are able to make enough money to sustain themselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's also the other end where there's very capable and competitive younger generation that are coming up that are willing to risk it all to get that opportunity to get a big paycheck.
Yeah.
But that's the risky part.
So
if you're just
one out of how many?
There was a survey that was out a while back that a big mountain biking website asked, I think it was the top 30 or top 50 riders in the world, what they make. And the biggest percentage was $0 to $5,000. And we're talking guys that are top 5, top 10 in the world that are pretty much making that. They'll go home and maybe have a part-time job or a full-time job, which is very respectable, and it speaks volumes.
So, but
for
these
them,
you are talking about the prices that you are making if you win actually a competition or a championship? Or
No, this is like what they make a year.
Okay.
So maybe a brand pays them £5,000
Okay.
or £10,000.
Okay, makes sense.
And then the prize money is not even enough to you win a race. It's
I can imagine it's not that much supported, kind of.
So that's the thing. I'd like to see prize money increased. Not that we do it for the prize money, but it's an incentive also for the people that are up and coming that maybe don't have a secure financial situation or position.
Makes sense.
So it's a large part of it. Only the small few I feel like really can rely on.
Yeah, and so if you would give them the young generations or the new riders any advice on what to do or to follow your path or how to approach this job, what would it be?
I would say if you feel like it's a risk, take it, especially if it's outside the industry. Being in the industry, you'll only get so far. And I think also relying on bike brands just to pump all the money is a little bit unfair, and it's not sustainable. So I think just to have a business head as well, racing's great, riding's great, being a fast rider is great. But if you don't have the marketing and business side of it sorted, then it is not sustainable. Like, you got to think of your future. And that's what I did, and that's the position I'm in now. And I'm in the best position I've ever been in the 15 years of my career. So it's really tough to say. Obviously, enjoying it is great, but seriously, having the business side of marketing is so important, and not being afraid to make new connections, and really push it out there, push the boat out there is important. So I try and tell people that. And I think I've come full circle really from where I've been in the past. So.
Yeah, and you definitely seem not afraid of the future. But this is probably also from your background. I mean, I saw some videos of you going into the void, basically. So I can imagine this is inside your blood, probably.
Yeah, for sure. It's just, I'm a bit of a risk taker.
Yeah, definitely.
It's paid off.
And it's great to hear. And any future initiative you can share with us, and any interesting travels or whatever you're up to?
I'm pretty much going wherever I want in the world at the moment, whenever I want. So
it's
been super fun. I love it. Just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah.
I'd like to start creating my own kind of merchandise or whatever, I think that would go down well. I think with the OnlyFans and myself, we could do something that people who are supporting the journey could wear when they're out, whether it's cycling or spectating an event, just to rub it in the faces of other people a bit more and make it more of a common sight would be cool. So we'll see where that goes, but
nice.
Just go with the flow.
Great, Lewis. Thank you so much. It was a super cool conversation.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Breaking Banks Europe, a Provoke Media podcast in cooperation with FinTech Stage. Don't forget to tweet us out, shout out, or post to the team at Breaking Banks EU on Twitter. If there's something or someone you'd like to hear on our cast, let us know. See you next week on Breaking Banks Europe.